Hello, this is Father David here on the Friday of the third week of Great Lent, and we are approaching the middle of the fast. And the part of the daily meditation that I'm going to take from this book today is from the Font of Wisdom. A couple of days ago, we referenced St. John of Kronstadt, and Father Stephen pulls from him again, from his work, My Life in Christ. And if you've not ever read this book, it's a considerable work, but it's very heavy, it's very deep, but it's very accessible. But it is very challenging. St. John was a man who not only was very dedicated in his asceticism, in his great feats of fasting and prayer and almsgiving, those three, the Holy Trinity of Lenten disciplines, to deny ourselves and to serve our neighbor in God's name. But because he did so out of a deep and obvious humility and love for God, this was something he did not out of mere obligation, although he was very disciplined to do that, but because of a deep and profound love and care for and appreciation for and honor towards God. And Father Stephen quotes him when he's speaking about fasting as a teacher. And he says that fasting is a good teacher for several reasons. Number one, he says fasting will soon make everybody who fasts understand that a man needs very little food and drink. And that in general, we are greedy and eat a great deal more than necessary. Two, fasting clearly discloses all the sins and defects, all the weaknesses and diseases of our soul, just as when one begins to clean out muddy, stagnant water, the reptiles and dirt that lurk in it are revealed when that happens. Number three, it shows us the necessity of turning to God with the whole heart and of seeking his mercy, help, and saving grace. Four, fasting shows us all the craftiness, cunning, and malice of the bodiless spirits, whom we have hitherto unwittingly served, and who now malignantly persecute us for having ceased to follow them. Just very briefly, number one, we need very little food and drink, and we are greedy and eat a great deal more than necessary. We have to determine between our wants and our needs. And when we free up, when we eat less, the idea is to free up money to give to the poor. But we have to identify the difference between if I need something and if I simply want it. Number two, it discloses all the sins and defects, all the weaknesses and diseases of our soul. Have you ever gotten hangry before? Hungry and angry. It brings all of that to the surface. And it discloses that we are not the put together, wonderful, pleasant person that we often think ourselves to be. It shows the necessity of turning to God with our whole heart. We come to the end of our rope, of our resources, of our ability to keep it together, and we have to beg God for his mercy. It shows us all the craftiness, cunning, and malice of the bodiless spirits, whom we have hitherto unwittingly served and now malignantly persecute us for having ceased to follow them. We take this opportunity to tell our bodies that they are not what's in charge. And the demons will often pick at these weaknesses of the body, whether it's sexual lust or whether it's an appetite for food or alcohol, whether it's a desire for bodily pleasure or just entertainment or stimulation of the body because you're bored. All of these types of things are when we, on purpose, dial in to the prayer of the church, providing ourselves some moderate discomfort in our bodies to remind ourselves that our bodies are not in charge, but they serve our souls in order to pray to God. The demons will come and tempt us even more fiercely. Some people say, when they come to confession, like we said yesterday, Father, I feel like I'm getting worse than getting better. Well, good. That's a feature, not a bug. This is something that, this is the last thing that our enemy wants us to do. But if we use fasting as a weapon in the war, and it will, in fact, ironically, as we are weakened in body, we're strengthened in soul, and able to take those steps during Lent to cease from evil, and, as we say in the liturgy of St. Basil, to be applied to every good deed. So God bless you. May he grant you continued good strength in your fasting. And God willing, we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.